Hi, welcome. Now, in today's lesson, it's inflation, a general and progressive increase in prices. So, this is what inflation is. If you are asking yourself, what's happening let's make a simple example. So, 2008, bread, by the way, a loaf of bread. So, let's say this is a loaf of bread. I know you're like, I can do better than, yes, it's fine. This is a loaf of bread. So let's say this is a loaf of bread. It was retailing or it was selling at 5 rands. Yes, you heard me clearly. It was 5 rands back in 2008. And you must be asking yourself, now in 2026, that same particular loaf, by the way, nothing much has changed, still the same ingredients. It's now retailing at 20 rands. What could have happened? Well, something happened, and we call that particular thing that has taken place inflation, a general and progressive increase in prices. So the prices have increased from 2008, 9, 10 up until 2026. We call this whole thing inflation. So I have gathered 5 extracts from past question papers, which we'll be looking at so that you can better understand how to solve inflation questions. But before we get there, let me show you a trick. Like I always tell you, I review past question papers, I review study guides, I review textbook. I will find the best way in which you can deal with each and every topic. Now, if you may, now remember when we are talking about value-added tax, I said you can either use 2 options. You can use the decimal option or you can use the fractional option. Don't use both of them. Choose one. Keep it simple for who? For yourself. Now, I told you that if you are adding VAT, so let's say if you are adding VAT, this is what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to multiply that particular original price with 115 over 100. I said that if you are subtracting VAT, so let's put it here. If you are subtracting or if you are taking out VAT, you are supposed to multiply that particular price which already has VAT by 100 over 115. So now someone may be asking themselves, where are we getting this 115? Well, it's simple. This 15 here, it's from the standard rate of VAT in South Africa. For value-added tax, it's 15%. So we just took 100 and we added a 15 and then we have 115. Keep this in mind because this is important with regards to what we are going to do with inflation. Similar, yeah, a bit similar. In fact, someone can say it's just as similar as it can possibly be. So how are we going to deal with inflation? This is what we are going to do. Inflation, you have years. Now let's make an example here. So let me use a rate for this example. So let's say we have something called 2020 and then 21, 22, 23. Let's stop it here. Now, let's say that we have been given a price for 2021 and that particular price for 2021 is 10 rands. And we are told that there was inflation. So maybe we are given also inflation percentages. So maybe here we can just say 1.5%. Here we can say 2%. For 2022, we can say, let's see. Okay, we can say 2.3%. And then here we can say 4.5%. It's fine. It's just random numbers. So these are the inflation rates that took place between those respective years. So now if the question comes, here's the first thing, and this is the most important thing. You should always ask yourself, where are we going? When I say where are we going, the price that we are supposed to determine, is it the price that is, or are we determining a price for a year going forward or a year going backwards? Because this changes everything. If we are going forward, let me put it here. If we are going forward, we are going to multiply by that particular percentage. So we are going to take that particular percentage. So let's say this was the price in 2021. They want to know what will the price be in 2022. So what you are going to do is this. Because this is 2.3, you are going to add 100. Now, what are you going to have? Let's go to our calculator quickly and let's do what we always are supposed to do. So let's say that if you have 100 and you add to that particular 100 a 2.3, you are going to have a 102.3. So if we are going forward, because we are going forward, this number is going to stay at the top. Why? It's similar with VAT. If you are adding VAT, the particular percentage goes at the top and then 100 goes below. So even here, if you are going forward, it means that what you have added, this added percentage goes where? It goes above, and then 100 goes where? It goes below. So let's do this. So we're going to say, because we are going forward, we're going to say that 10 multiplied by 102. Okay, 102. What am I doing? See, now I have to use an eraser, something I barely use. Anyways, it's fine. So you will say 102.3 over 100. If it's like this, it means, or it shows that we are going forward. We want to find the price for a year in advance or for the year going forward. So let's see what we are going to get here. So the number is already here. Okay, can just say 102.3, and then we are going to say over 100, and then we'll multiply it by a 10. Can start with a 10, still the same thing. So it's telling us that if in 2021 it was 10%, it was 10 rand. In 2022, it's going to be 10.23 cents. Now, that is only if we are going forward. So if we are going forward, the added percentage goes at the top, and then below you put 100. What happens if we are going backwards? So if we are going backwards, what is going to happen? It's the opposite. We are still going to multiply. But then the question is, how are we going to multiply? Well, the added percentage is going to go below, and the 100 is going to stay on top. So if we are going backwards, this is what we are going to do. So let's say we wanted to find what the price was in 2020, right? And now pay attention. This is important. If we are going forward, we do not take into account the inflation of that particular year because it has already been applied. This 10 rand already has the 2% inflation. So if we are going forward, we don't also have to add this 2%. We just continue with the percentages of inflation for the following years. But if we are going backwards, we also have to subtract the percentage of that particular year. Why are we doing that? Because the money already has inflation for that particular year. So you have to do what? You have to subtract it. So if we want to find what was happening, what was the price in 2020, this is what we are going to do. We are going to say 10. I say we multiply. The added percentage goes where? The added percentage goes below, and 100 stays at the top. So it's going to be 100 over what? It's going to be 102, because remember, you always take the percentage that you are given, you add it to 100. So when I'm talking about an added percentage, I'm talking about the given percentage plus 100, which gives you 102. So now let's find out what was going to happen here when we say a 10 multiplied by 100 over a 102. So you are going to get, so in 2020, it was 980 rounded off to 2 decimal places. So now I want you to put this in mind. When we are going forward, now let me put this here. When we are going forward, let me use a red. When we are going forward, added percentage top, 100 below. So it becomes like this. When we are going backwards, okay, have to make this. When we are going backwards, 100 top added percentage below. You do this, you are never gonna get it wrong because it is as simple as this. There is no division, there is not. We are just multiplying by a fraction, and it's only a fraction that we are going to use because a fraction makes it simply and it makes it easy for you. Now, if this is a bit confusing, don't worry. I understand. Hence, we have what? We have practice question from past question papers to see how they can ask you the questions and also how they expect you to answer those questions. So now, let's get to the real deal. Real deal. So, we have a Marshall who is considering to buy a new car in a few years. He has to take inflation into consideration. Expected inflation rates for the next 3 years, they are as follows. Now, a new Hyundai is currently priced at 139,800. So this is the current price for the particular year. Determine how the 2023 price, so that means that this is the price of the Hyundai in 2023, will change over the next 2 years. So if they're asking how will it change over the next 2 years, they are simply talking about 2024 and 2025. They said over the next 2 years. Since it was 2023, the next 2 years it's 2024 and then 2025. How will it change over the next 2 years and whether it would be wise for him to wait or not? Now, look at my steps. Simple. Don't do a lot of things. One line. Inflation, I repeat, don't do a lot of steps. One line is enough. One line is enough. What are you saying, say one line? Look at this. So first of all, I asked you the questions that you need to ask yourself. Are we going backwards or forward? Well, say we are going where? Forward. If we are going forward, where does the added percentage stay? The added percentage stays at the top, and what stays below? 100 stays where? Below. This is what we are supposed to multiply by. Now let's do that. Let's put that into action. We are going to take the price of 139,800 and we are going to multiply by the added percentage. So for this one, if you plus this by 100, you also have to plus this by 100. Let's see what you get. So if you say 1.25 plus 100, first you get a 101.25 over 100. Remember, add it at the top and then below you put 100. This is what I meant when I said in one line. You don't have to solve for 2024 first and then solve for 2025 next unless the question has been specific about doing so. But if it has not, you are still going to get your full marks. There are memos that can back up what I am saying. So if you multiply here again, you do the same thing. So let's do this. We are going to say that a 0.5 plus 100. What do we get? We get 100.5. Added at the top, 100 below. In one line. That's what we are doing. We have solved the inflation. 800 multiplied by 101.25 over 100, and then you also say multiply by 100.5 over 100. What's the price? The price, it says that in 2025 you are going to have to buy it for 142,255.2375. Let's round it off to 2 decimal places. So it's going to be 142,255.24. That's how it works, and that's how simple it is. You just need to understand, where am I going? Am I going forward? If I'm going forward, the added percentage stays at the top. If I'm going backwards, the added percentage stays below. Going forward, added at the top, 100 below. Going backwards, added below 100 the top. You're multiplying all the way. You're always multiplying by that fraction. Now, again, if it still doesn't make sense, bear with me. Bear with me. Now we haven't answered the question fully. They were asking, would it be wise for him to wait? No, because he would have to pay more. Because in 2025, he would have to pay more. So not wise for him to wait. So he'd rather just buy it in 2023. Now let's go to the next question. So the next question, we are given inflation rates in America for 2021. So in 2021, the inflation rate is, and always, this is what I always say, you need to learn how to break down statements in mathematical literacy. It makes it easy for you. It makes it simple to get answers right. It's also time saving, because if you have broken down statements, instead of always going back to those big, huge paragraphs, you can rather refer to your small notes that you have made by the side to make things easy for you. So here, you can simply say that in 21, it was 7%. And in 2020, it was 1.4%. So 20, it was 1.4%. The price of a Ford F-Series vehicle in 2022 is, and we are also given the price in 2022. Now, let's see what the question says. It is stated that the price of the Ford F-Series vehicle in 2020, so we are talking about 2020, was more than. So they are saying that in 2020, let me put this here. So in 2020, what they are saying is that the price, so here I can write price, was more than, or it was greater than $29,800. That's what they are saying. We have to prove whether this is correct. How are we supposed to prove this? Well, remember, we've been given the price in 2022. And they are saying that the price in 2020 was greater than 29,800. So basically, they're asking us to go where? Backwards. Why? 2022 going back to what? To 2020. So what are we going to do? This is what we are going to do. Remember, when you are going backwards, what do you do? 100 top added percentage below. That's how it works. So now let's take the price. The price in 2022, it's 32,332. We multiply. We are always multiplying by a fraction. Now let's start with 2021, because if you are moving from 2022, you are moving directly to 2021, and then you will move to 2020. So with 2021, we have been given okay, remember at the top it's 100, the added percentage here. So if we take this 7 plus 100 quickly, just 100 plus 7, we are going to get 107. Multiply again, continue. 100 above and then below added percentage. So now we are at 2020, 1.4. So if you take this 1.4 and you add it with 100, so let's say 100 plus a 1.4, what do you get? You get a 101.4. Now, what's the answer? Let's go to our calculator. 32,332. If you multiply by a fraction of 100 over 107, and if you multiply by a fraction of 100 again over a 101.4, what do you get? You actually get that it was 29,799.62764. Rounded off to two decimal places. This is dollar. It's going to be 29,799.63. You are, okay, you're not done answering the question, but you are done with regards to what? Inflation. So you have calculated the price in 2020. Now, they said that we should verify, so we are supposed to say, so is this greater than this? Because they said that the price in 2020 is going to be 29,800. Does this look like 29,800? No, it's there, but it's not. In mathematical literacy, even if it's by a cent, it's invalid. Nope, invalid. That's how you do it. Determine forward or backward. If you know we are going forward, add it at the top. Below, you put 100. If you know we are going backwards, 100 at the top. Below, you put added. You multiply, just like that. You collect, just look, 6 marks. We are moving. We are cruising. Okay, maybe not nicely, but yes, we are indeed cruising. So I gave you the definition of the term inflation, which is general and progressive increase in prices. Now we can continue with 2.2.2. This is what we are here for. Yes, it is what we are here for. So let's do it anyway. So we are giving South African inflation rates from June 2017 to June 2019. By the way, it is 2026. I guess I am so forward that I'm already in 2027. Anyway, calculate the price of brown bread in June 2019. If the price was in June 2017, where? First question, where? Ask yourself, where? Where are we headed? Where are we going? Is it backward or forward? Well, the price in 2017, it was 12 rand. What will the price be in June 2019? Therefore, because we've been given the price for 2017 and we want the price for 2019, we can already tell that, you know what? We are going forward. If we are going forward, what stays at the top? It's added. Percentage at the top. Below, it's 100 that goes below. And let's start. Now we have the price. The price is 12.24. We multiply. It has to be added. Now, because we are moving from, remember I told you this. If you are moving from that particular year, you are going forward. Because we are going forward, and this is important because if you do not do it right, you are going to have some serious problems. You must make sure that you are doing all your calculations accurately. Because we are moving forward, we are not going to consider this 5.27. Why say? I mentioned it above, or I mentioned it earlier on, but the reason why we do not consider that particular year's inflation rate when we are moving forward, it is because the price already has that particular inflation rate. This 12.24 already has accounted for this 5.24. It already has this inflation. But if we were going backwards, we were supposed to account for it. So since we are going forward, nope, we start with 2018 and then 2019. So you say plus 100, you say plus 100 because these are what has to stay at the top. So now we are going to say 100 plus a 4.62. Let's see what we have. 104.62 over 100. And then again, let's see what we have when we say 100 plus 4. Okay, it's 38. Now let's go here. So it's going to be 104.38 below. And now we can do this. 12.24, not 21, 24. You multiply it by 104.62, divide by 100. Again, you multiply it by a 104.28, 38.38 over 100. What do you get? You actually get a 13 point, so it's 13.36636837. Let's round it off to 2 decimal places. It's simply going to be 13.37. Simple, right? See now I can see that smile on your face. Now you're like, oh, okay. I see where we're. Yes, that's where we are going, definitely. Anyways, let's go to the next one. So, this one, there is a lot. Hence, we are going to make it simple by also making a few things or noting a few things on the side. So, we have a Bay Golf Club which uses a golf course situated in England. Below shows the actual. So, this is important. Below you have the actual and the projected sources of income in pounds of the Bay Golf Club based on previous trends in income for the years 2022 to 2026. We are not here for this. Nor are we here for this. Nor are we here for this. But we are here for 2.2.4. That's what we are here for. So let's go for it. It says that according to the website statista.com, the projected inflation rate for 2025 and 2026 will increase by 1.82 and 2 respectively. So that means when they say respectively, they mean according to how they stated them. So they follow each other according to how they stated them. This is what I mean. They said for 2025. So since they started with 2025, that means what goes with 2025, it's the percentage that they started with. So that's 1.82. And 2026, that means what goes with 2026 is what comes after, which is 2%. So they are saying that these are the percentages, inflation percentages, respectively. Now, what's the question? A club member stated that if the membership fees increased according to the projected inflation. So a club member is saying that if these membership fees, let's see, we have them here. These are the membership fees. If they increased according to the projected inflation, the difference between the projected inflation for 2026 and the projected table value for 2026 will be $16,611.31. 6 marks. Thank you. It is ours indeed. Like I told you on the previous lesson, you see more marks, it's time to enjoy. It's time to be so happy because, you take everything. You don't leave anything on the table. Anyways, because we are going to talk about the projected inflation for what? For 2026. So that means that we have been given for 2025 and 2026. These are the rates that we are going to use. So that means that our particular amount is actually here in 2024 for membership fees. Remember, we are talking about membership fees. So we have it here as 257,460. And remember, these values that you are seeing here, the actual and the projected sources of income, all of them that you are seeing here. Now, disregard B. Okay, you can answer B if maybe you also have, you also want to answer B. But 2.2.4, where we are, this is what we are going to do. We are going to take the value for membership fees for 2024. Why are we taking 2024? Why couldn't we take 2023? The reason why we are taking 2024, it's because we've been given the inflation rate for 2025 and 2026. So the amount that we can use is for 2024. And then we are going to account for inflation for 2025, account for inflation again for 2026. So where are we going? Forward or backwards? Of course, we are going forward. Okay. This looks like Chinese. I'm sorry. It is not Chinese. It is just forward. Add it at the top and then 100 below. Now let's start. So we have been given 257,460. What are we multiplying it with first? We are supposed to remember, always take your percentages. You add 100. You add 100 to your percentages. So for 2025, we have 100 plus 1.82, which gives us a 101.82 over 100. And then again, for 2026, okay, so here you simply have 100 plus a 2, which will give us a 102 over 100. Put that in the calculator to see what you get. So we say we have a 257. 460 multiplied by 101.82 in a fraction over 100. You also multiply for 2026, 102 over 100. What do you get? It actually tells us that you get 267,388.68 7. This is a 6874. This is not the final answer. It's not the final answer. So yeah, someone could be saying, but let's just round it off already. No. You're not rounding it off already because it is not the final answer. Let's make it the final answer first, and therefore we are going to round it off. The question was saying that a club member stated that if the membership fees increased according to the projected inflation, this is the projected inflation that you're seeing here at the top. The difference between the projected inflation, so the difference between this is the projected inflation. This is the projected inflation. All of these are projected inflation. The difference between the projected inflation value for 2026, particularly, this is where we are, and the projected table value for 2026 will be. So, they are saying that the projected inflation, which we have just calculated, and the projected table value, which is this one that they've given us, will be 16,611.31. Let's prove that. How do we prove that? Always when you hear difference in mathematical literacy, just think subtract. In your mind, subtract should be ringing. Therefore, you will take the bigger value, which is this value for 2026. Membership fees, remember? 284 subtract 388. Okay, it's not 388. Why am I saying? Why am I starting there? That's not 388. It's 267,388.6874. So you can go to the calculator and say 284. What happens when you subtract a 267 and then a 388.6874? Oh, okay. You get a 16,611.3126. We can round this off. 16, it's not 6, yeah, it's 16,611.31. So actually the statement is very much valid. The statement is valid because this is the difference that we have gotten when we are using the values on the table and the projected inflation that we have been given. Again, let's move on to this is the last one. Let's move on to the last one. So here on the last one, what we have, or we will be focusing on, it's not briefly explain the changes in the rate of inflation, explain why it is referred as. They are looking for English there. And as you can tell, I am a lot of things, but I am definitely not an English teacher. So 421, 422, you can struggle with your English and struggle. We are here. Us, we struggle with numbers and calculations. Not with English. The price of a dining table we are given the price of a dining table in 2018. Where is 2018? It's here. 5,356. Use the rates of inflation shown above to calculate the difference in its price in 2017 and 2019. So we're doing two things here. We're supposed to calculate what the price was in 2017 and also calculate what the price was in 2019. Oh, I like this one. We are going forward and we are also going where? Backward. You may use this formula. Yes, you may. But us, we already understand. Remember, we are not here to confuse ourselves. We already understand how to do this. So I'm not saying this formula is wrong. You use this formula, you're still going to get the same answers, by the way. But our formula that we have, that formula is what we are going to use. How do we use it? First, where should we go first? Backwards or forward? Okay, let's get 2019 first. So since 2019, it's forward. 2019, it's forward, and we already understand that when you are going forward, added percentage at the top and then 100 you put below. So let's write here and say 2019. 2019 is going to be, say, 5,356, which is the price in 2018. If we want for 2019, this is important. This is what I've been telling you. If you are going forward, you don't account for the current that particular year. Why? Because inflation has already been added to the price. This 5,356 already has 5.94 inflation. So where do we go? You go to the next one or the following one. So the added for this one, remember, always you class it by 100. So if you say 100 plus 8.63, what do you get? You actually get a 108.63 over 100. Let's see what we have for this one. So we have a 5,356. Okay, you're not dividing. What am I doing? 5,356. You multiply it by 108.63. You divide it by 100. Okay, you get that the price in 2019 was 5,818.2228. Now, let's use a different one. Also need to know what the price was in 2018. In 2018, not in 2018, they said that what was the price in 2017. In 2017, we are going backwards. 2017, as you can tell here, 2017. We are going backwards. So since we are going backwards, we already know that we must multiply 100 top below. You put the added percentage, you put it below. So we're still going to take the price. The price was, in 2018, it was 5,356. Multiply. Pay attention. Are we multiplying it by an added percentage of 4.62? Yes, it's a question for you. I'm expecting you to be answering and saying something. I can't hear you. What are you saying? No. Yes, no, we are not. Why? Because if we are taking 4.62, we would have not accounted for the 5.94, which is already in the price. So to get the price for 2017, we must first take out the 5.94. We don't use the 4.62. No, don't use the 4.62. Do not do that. Which one are you supposed to use for this one? You are actually supposed to use 5.94. We spoke about this. If you are going backwards, you account for the current year. If you are going forward, you don't account for the current year. So now we are going to say, okay, added. If you do this also as added 100 plus 5.994, you actually get that it becomes, and also because we are going backwards, it's 100 here and it's 105.94. What do we get for this? See, basics. I always teach you this. Basics are important. You put these wherever you go, where you see inflation. Inflation, all of a sudden, it starts, it stops becoming a television thing that you're always seeing, and it starts becoming a reality, something that you can calculate even yourself, for yourself, at home. But we are not doing this so that you can calculate it at home. We want you to do this in an examination session. That's why it's important, so that you know how to calculate it in an examination session. Now 5,356 multiply by 100 because we are going backwards. And the 105, which is the added 94. What do we get? We actually get a 5,055.691,901. I know. We are not done because the question said that use the rates of inflation shown above to calculate the difference in its price. So we are supposed to make, I said, when you see difference, what should come to mind? Subtract. Yes, subtract. So we are supposed to subtract 2019 and 2017. Green, awaken yourself. So 2019, it was 5,818.228. 2017, it was 5,055.691,901. Let's see what the difference will be. The difference is 5,818.2228. subtracting a 5055.69 1901. Okay, I don't see a 69 shade. It's supposed to be 691901. So it's 691901. Let's see. We are actually getting a 762.530899. Can round this off 762.53. See, you could have used the formula. You may use the following formula. At the end of the day, the price has to be this. If the price is not this, then there's a mistake that you have made somewhere. Keep it like this. The reason why I want you to keep it like this is because this makes it simple. This makes it easy. This makes it simple. This makes it easy. And that's what you are here for. Just imagine watching a whole YouTube video so that your life can become as hard, more harder than it already is. Like, really, can't do that to yourself. Anyways, thank you. Subscribe. And while you are at subscribing, share. While you are at sharing, practice. While you are at practicing, go and kill. Don't kill the exam. That's very harsh. Do something to the exam. Anyway, see you on the next one. Thank you.